Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutrabhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadguram Brahma Vidvaram. Sadguram Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishabhai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Hari Om. We of Sukshma Sharira, subtle body discussion. And we have seen the 19 components that make up the subtle body and the respective functions. Then in the last class, we saw Idam Shariram Shunu Sukshma Samyitam Lingam Tu Apanchikrita Bhuta Sambhavam Sa Vasanam Karma Palanu Bhavakam Swa Ajnanatah Anadihi Upadihi Atmanah. That Sukshma Sharira is also called Linga Sharira. And it is made up of subtle elements, not gross. And it is saturated with vasanas. And it causes the experience of karma pala, a beginningless medium of interaction and identification. And it is very distinctly experienced in Swapna Bhavati Asya Vibhakti Avastha. Swam Atrasheshena Vibhati Yatra Swapnetu Buddhihi Swayameva Jagrat Kalina Nanavida Vasanabihi. Dream in which mind plays a dominant role. The subtle body functions by itself without the aid of any of the gross body and its parts. The mind shines in dream with varieties of vasanas, which are impressions, recorded experience. So we saw that last class. So we continue today with verse 99. कर्तादिभावं प्रतिपद्य राजते कत्रादिभावं प्रतिपद्य राजते यत्र स्वयं भाति हयं परात्मा यत्र स्वयं भाति हयं परात्मा धीमात्र कोपादिरशेष साक्षी धीमात्र कोपादिरशेष साक्षी न लिप्यते तत्कृतकर्मलेशैः न लिप्यते तत्कृतकर्मलेशैः यस्मादसङ्गस्तत एव कर्मभिः यस्मादसङ्गस्तत एव कर्मभिः न लिप्यते किञ्चिदुपाधिना कृतैः न लिप्यते किञ्चिदुपाधिना कृतैः कर्त्राधिभावं प्रतिपद्य राजते यत्र स्वयं भाति हयं परात्मा धीमात्र कोपादिरशेष शक्ति साक्षी न लिप्यते तत्कृतकर्मलेशैः यस्मात् संगस्तत एव कर्मभिः न लिप्यते किञ्चिदुपाधिना कृतैः. See, the first line should be connected to the previous shloka. These two verses 98 and 99 should be read together because the verb rajate is in this verse. So it should be connected with previous verse. Buddhihi rajate. In the dream state, buddhi shines. Buddhi here means the mind, not the intellect, okay? Shines by assuming various roles. The different roles played here are kartradhibhavam pratipadya. Any transaction, whenever we are acting, it requires various constituents. There has to be a subject which does the action. Then there has to be an object on which the subject acts. The instrument of action, like that, there are so many factors that are involved. Suppose I give you a book. I am the subject. I am doing the action of giving. And you are there. You are receiving the book. You are the object, and the book is also an object in this case. Two objects are there. And then I take the book in my hand and I give it to you. So my hand is involved. That's an instrument, karanam. And you take the book in your hands. So all these various components are involved. Now take the case of the dream. Suppose I'm eating the dream. I'm just eating something. The subject is myself. The object, the food that I'm putting in my mouth, that's me also, because it is my mental projection. The instruments, let's say I'm sitting at a dining table and I have a dinner plate and the cutlery, everything is there, all those instruments. What's all that? Again, my projection. That's me only. And at the end of dinner, my hunger is satisfied. Whose hunger is that? My hunger. I'm the beneficiary. Like that, Everything in the dream, the subject, object, instrument, beneficiary, everything is me. Of course, all the time I need not be the beneficiary. There may be somebody else, a son or a daughter, somebody, other beneficiaries are also there. And then there is a certain location that is happening in the dream. Supposing you are there in a fine restaurant. That location, where did it come from? Came from you, your mental projection. Okay. So all this in Sanskritam we call it karakani. Karaka means accessories. All the constituents or components, everything that is involved in the transaction, subject, object, instrument, beneficiary, etc., involved in the kriya, the action. Only when all the accessories, all these constituents come together, the action can be produced. So, karaka janya kriya, all accessories together produce an action. Imagine I alone come to the class and none of you show up. And the class cannot go on. Suppose you all come and I open up the wrong meeting. You are all at the correct meeting only. You come to Vivek Chudamani class, but I opened the Gita class on the Zoom. All waiting. And I'm also, since I'm in the wrong class, I don't have any students either. So no teaching can take place, no learning can take place. Finally, one of us has to realize. And not that it has not happened, it has happened too. It has happened. I've done that. There are 4 or 5 classes, you click on the wrong one and it takes you. Very diligently, Zoom takes care. Whatever you click, it'll take you there. It doesn't ask you. Anyway, so all these have to come together. Then only there can be a transaction. Thus, karakani, all these together produce a kriya. And then that action produces phala. So thus the world is, according to Vedanta, the world is nothing but this karaka kriya phala. Anything you name, it will be a karakam, or it will be a kriya, or the phala. Reduces the entire world into these 3. In the waking state, I am one of the karakas. And the world consists of karaka or phala. Even Swargaloka comes under phalam only. When I say the world, not only this world, the entire creation. Now, the uniqueness of the swapna avastha, the dream state. In swapna, buddhi, or the mind, is capable of becoming all of them, all the karakas. Supposing this class is going on in dream. Who are the students? You all don't come to the dream class. I will be projecting all of you. You are not there physically. My mind produces all the students. Or you are dreaming and you are attending. You come to the Gita class, just dream on. What does your mind do? The mind will produce me. You'll be dreaming that I'm there talking and you're listening. All that will go on. So the guru, the dream guru, gives the upadesha tattvamasi. Dream guru is giving the upadesha. And wonderful sadhana chaturshaya sampanna adhikari, endowed with 100% all the qualifications. Guru says Tattvamasi, the student takes it and says, Aham Brahmasmi. He's established in the truth. Where does it all happen? So, there, everything is produced by your mental projection. The mind produces all karakas. The mind produces that kriya, that realization that happened. Your mind produced that. And the palam, okay, you have become a jivan mukta. And all that you need is to wake up from there to get videha mukti also. All right. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, Kartradi bhavam pratipadya. The mind itself becomes Kartra Adi, Karta, etc. The Karaka and the Kriya and the Palams, everything. The mind itself generates everything. So powerful is the mind. So mind is compared to Maya. At the Ishvara level, Maya has produced this entire waking world. At the Jiva level, the mind produces the entire dream world. So the mind is as powerful as. So if you want to understand Maya, you understand your dream and the role the mind plays. Then you will understand. So Pratipadya, assuming all the forms, the Buddhi or the Sukshma Sharira shines. Remember, we are still discussing the Anatma. We have not yet come to Atma. The first stage of Anatma, the Sthula Sharira, we finished. The second stage, Sukshma Sharira, we are discussing. Therefore, the natural sequence would be, we'll have to go to Karana Sharira. Then only we will go to the Atma topic. However, perhaps Shankaracharya is impatient to talk about Atma for whatever reason. So he briefly mentions about Atma in the following lines of this verse. Actually, the details will come much later. Elaborate discussion is there. But some briefly, he makes a mention. So in this context, you can think of it as an aside topical digression. An incidental detour he makes. What is the nature of Atma? He says, Yatra asmin dream swayam bhati hyayam paratma. This Atma or the self is self-effulgent, self-evident. So even in the dream, we said it's all mental projections, but all that has to happen in the presence of Atma. Don't forget that. Be it waking or dream, presence of Atma is required. So that is what he is referring to. So how does it function? We will elaborately, as I said, discuss the idea of Swayam Bhati, etc. later on. So since it is just a brief reference to that, we will not dwell upon it elaborately at this time. I'll give you a simple meaning of this section. Dhimatraka upadihi. The Atma functions through the mind alone during the dream. So that is why we say consciousness associated with the thing is the dreamer, Taijasa, etc. Elsewhere you've studied. So, Dhimatraka upadihi, the Atma functions through the mind alone during the dream. The Sthula Sharira, passive. Karna Sharira, passive. Therefore, all sense organs are passive. Dhimatraka upadi, the mind alone is a medium of operation or the field of operation in dream. Then Ashesha Sakshi. The Atma illumines the mind and its conditions without itself getting affected by whatever happens in dream. This is no different from the waking state. The presence of Atma is a must. In that presence only everything happens, be it a dream or the waking state. All right. So therefore, Ashesha, Asesha, Sakshi, it is the witness of the dream events. Atma is witness consciousness only. It's a witness, as in the waking state. So here, Shankaracharya talks about this Atma, even though it's a diversion. I feel that he has deliberately done this because there is an important reason. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a Brahmanam section. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the sections are called Brahmana. It's a section called Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. It's a very important, significant section. In fact, in this shloka itself, there is a reading difference. Pata Veda is there. In the second line, yet Swayam Jyoti reading is there instead of Bhati. If you see the word Bhati there, in some readings, it is replaced by Yat Swayam Jyoti. To remind us of the Swayam Jyoti Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There, the significance of the section is Upanishad uses dream as an ideal state to recognize Atma, to understand Atma very clearly. It's very clearly discussed there. We will study Swayam Jyoti Brahmana one of these days. Okay? I'm just giving you the gist of this portion. So, Shankaracharya explains why dream is very important Vedantic study, because in dream alone, mind clearly becomes an object of my experience. It's on clear display, mind. So when I say I am seeing a tiger in the dream, what is the tiger? Tiger is nothing but my own mind, my own projection. Therefore, I am seeing a tiger means I'm clearly experiencing a tiger thought as an object. Thus, dream is nothing but my own thought. During dream, if I am clearly objectifying a world, I am objectifying my own mind. Therefore, the significance of dream is that the mind is the object in the dream. Whereas in the waking state, the mind is predominantly functioning as an instrument. You may have to think about these things. Okay. The role of mind. In the waking state, my mind is thinking it's an instrument, sadhana. Okay, whereas in the dream, everything in the dream is the play of the mind only. That is how the difference is. So this difference you must understand clearly. So the waking state is a mind as an instrument state. The dream state is mind as everything really. Mind object we can say, but everything in the dream. It's a one-act play, if you will. So only one actor there. Okay, now when a thing is deemed as an object, you can easily know it is different from me, the subject. But when it is serving as an instrument, the instrument is closely associated with the subject. So quite often the instrument will be mistaken easily as the subject. You have to think a little bit on this idea. An instrument is easily identified as a subject because it's so close to the subject, the instrument. Those of us who use our glasses to see, put the glasses to see clearly. This glass is clearly an instrument only, but quite often we forget. It becomes a part of us. How many times you've seen people, they stick their glasses on their head and then they keep, where did I put my glass? Where did I put my glass? Because it's a reading glass. When you use a reading glass and you're not reading, the rest of the things is not very clear. So you take your glasses, put it on your head, and you're doing, and then you have to read suddenly. Then you start searching. It's still on you. It has become part of you. So you can understand these simple examples how that eyeglasses, an instrument, very clearly it's an instrument, but it's so darn close to you, it has become part of you. That is what happens. Similar in the waking state, when I say I am including the mind is myself, instead of knowing that mind is only an instrument, all my mind, body, etc., etc., they're all instruments, sense organs, but it is so close to me that I mistake it. This is how this identification takes place. If I know that the waking state is a freedom state, that is Jivan Mukti, that these instruments are not me, if I know that. When I say I, that includes the mind in myself, then whenever there are problems in the mind, I would not say the mind is affected, but I say I am upset. Therefore, the dream becomes a very important thing for Vedantic analysis. I clearly know that I'm not the mind. Mind is only an object in the dream, whereas it's an instrument in the waking state. Of course, I am neither the object mind as in the dream, nor am I the instrument mind as in the waking state. That's why he took a little bit of this digression here. Therefore, only tatkrita karma leshehi na lipyate. Atma is not tainted, na lipyate, not touched by all the karmas done in the dream. All the karmas done in the dream do not touch me. Why talk about Atma? Anything that's happening in the dream does not even touch the waker. Okay. All karmas done in the dream do not touch me. Karma leshaihi means even a little bit. Lapaleshu. Not even a wee bit. An iota apapam will not come to me, whatever happens in the dream. If a person commits a crime in Swapna and he gets arrested in the dream, he is taken to the court, he is found guilty, given a sentence, all that happens. Given life imprisonment, in India they have this life imprisonment, which is 14 years. I don't know how they came up with that 14 for life imprisonment. In America, when they give you 150 years, you are there 150 years unless you get paroled. Anyway, you are found guilty, given a stiff sentence and all that. And in all that pain, he rolls over and falls from his bed, and that wakes him up. So life imprisonment sentence complete. So, and where does he wake up? In his bedroom only. So how many more years of life imprisonment would he continue now? Sadhyo Mukti, he is free immediately. In the same way, this waking state is no different. You know, this is only like a dream, and we are struggling to get rid of the Sanchita karma, the Agami karma, and exhaust the Prarabdha karma. How do you do? Uh, how can you accomplish all that? You just have to wake up. Wake up to your true nature. This is what Shastras tell us. You wake up to your real nature, the higher nature. Then all these problems are immediately solved. Just like the dreamer who was sentenced to life in prison, he got out of the sentence just by waking up. Similarly, from this waking state, you wake up to the higher state, paramarthika. All these problems get solved immediately. So there is no other shortcut. That's the toughest problem. Therefore, tat krita, meaning buddhi krita, mind created karma lesha hi na lipyate, does not affect you in the least. Why is Atma not affected? Yasmat asangaha, because consciousness is asanga, unattached to anything. Just like the space is not affected by things that are present in this space. Just as the screen in a movie theater, that screen is not affected by all the action that's going on in the movie. Similarly, I, the Atma, am not affected by the mental episodes. We've already seen, those of you who are studying Dakshinamurti Stotra, remember the very first verse? Vishwam darpana drashyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyan atmani mayaya bahirivod bhutam yata nidraya yas sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmaname meva swayam. I am asanga tatayeva, because being unattached, asanga, karma bihi na lipyate. I am unaffected by karmas. So it is the repetition of the previous line. He concludes, kinchit upadhi na kritaihi. Not affected by the actions done by the upadhi, an instrument. Even a little bit, kinchitapi. Continuing word. सर्वव्यापृतिकरणं लिङ्गम् सर्वव्यापृतिकरणं लिङ्गम् इदं स्याचिदात्मनः पुंसः इदं स्याचिदात्मनः पुंसः वास्यादिकमिव तक्ष्णः वास्यादिकमिव तक्ष्णः तेनैवात्मा भवति ओयम् तेनैवात्मा भवत्यसङ्गोऽयम् सर्वव्यापृतिकरणं लिङ्गम् इदं स्याचिदात्मनः पुंसः वास्यादिकमिव तक्षणः तेनैवात्मा भवत्यसङ्गोऽयम्. So he continues with the topic of Sukshma Sharira. In this verse, he talks about its role in Jagrad Avastha, waking state. In Swapna Avastha, the dream state, the Sukshma Sharira, especially the mind, is a clear object of experience. And how the mind is the object, we should know very clearly. You do not see the mind as mind in dream, but you have the experience of the mind as thoughts in the dream. The thought are also not experienced as thought, but as an object. There may be a man, a woman, a mountain, river, car chase. Oh, everything is there. Everything is that mind. Everything is the thought. So I am lying in bed. None of those things, those mountain, etc., river flowing, etc. How is it possible in your bed? So the mind is the one which is everything in the dreams. Sukshma Sharira, waking state, that Sukshma Sharira, the mind is an instrument. Whether the mind is serving as an object or an instrument, it cannot be the subject, the Atma. Whether you look upon the mind as an object or as an instrument, either way, I am different from the mind. Whether my glasses are seen as an object when I'm wiping them, whether it's an instrument when I read a book, I am not the glasses. So he says, idam lingam karanam syat. In the waking state, this lingam, meaning sukshma sharira, is clearly an instrument. It's an instrument for sarva vyapriti, for all transactions. So we use the mind. It's like the toolkit that a mechanic uses. The handyman that comes to your house to fix things, he will bring his toolkit. Sometimes it looks like a big suitcase, but inside there will be a screwdriver, a wrench, hammer, drill, what have you. Carpenter comes with his toolbox. An electrician will have his tools. Plumber will have his. Similarly, human beings, we have the Sukshma Sharira suitcase. And in that, there are these 19 instruments. They can be used anytime, anywhere, as you choose. You're listening through the ears, you're seeing through your eyes. Suddenly, you want to write something down. Something comes to your mind. I want to write it down. You're using your hands. How are you doing all of them so quickly? So these instruments are Chidatmanaha Pumsaha. For the Chidatma Pumsa, for this person, Purusha, Atma, who is the subject of all experience, for that conscious being, known as Chitatma, Chaitanya Swarupam, the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, is an instrument. An example is given here. Takshnaha Vasyadikam Iva. Takshna means a carpenter. Takshna. Vasyadikam, chisel. He uses that as an instrument. It's an example, that's all. For the Jivatma, the Sukshma Sharira is an instrument. The instrument can never be taken as the subject. Therefore, Tena Eva, because of that reason only, since this Sukshma Sharira is only a temporarily used instrument, Ayam Atma Asangaha Bhavati. The Atma is essentially free from and different from Sukshma Sharira. So the point is driving home is you, the Atma, you and I, the Atma, we are different from the Sukshma Sharira. Don't take your mind to be you. That is an upadhi. So I am different from Stula Sharira. I am different from Sukshma Sharira. These are all Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira. These are all Anatma. They are not the Atma. You are the Atma. That's the point. Okay. Continuing verse 101. Andhatvamandatvapatutva Andhatvamandatvapatutva Saugunya Vaigunya Vashadi Chakshusha Saugunya Vaigunya Vashadi Chakshusha Baderya Mukatva Mukastataiva Baderya Andatvamukastataiva Shrotrati dharma natu veturatmanah. Adhidharma natu veturatmanah. Andhatva patutva dharma saugunya vaigunya vashati chakshusha bhaderya mukatva mukastataiva shrotrati dharma natu veturatmanah. He said, Sukshma Sharira is a bundle of many instruments, 19 components, right? Now, Bhashyakara says, you should recognize one fact. Any instrument will have different conditions of sharpness. Take a kitchen knife or a razor blade. Any of these instruments will be very sharp in the beginning. As we keep on using it, they become dull. Then sometimes you have to sharpen them again. So the instrument is subject to deterioration. And when it does so, you have to improve it. Sometimes after improving several times, you cannot sharpen that instrument anymore. So you got to throw it away, get a new one. These are all very natural to any instrument. When an instrument becomes weak, it's not working properly. For example, a carpenter, we said he uses a chisel, and the chisel is not sharp enough. Do we say the carpenter has become weak? He has a blunt instrument, so the work will be affected, but he's still as good a carpenter as he ever was. Same carpenter, whatever be the condition of the instrument. The efficiency of operation may come down when the tools are not sharp enough. Carpenter himself is not affected by the different conditions of the instrument. So we extend this to our instrument, to your instrument, and to you. That's all. You take the eye. The eye is a very important instrument. And here he says, it has three conditions. Andhatva, mandatva, patutva. Patutva means real sharp. Your eyes, without glasses, nothing. 20/20 vision. You can see perfectly clearly. Patutva. So they say he has an eagle eye. You know, the eagle way up in the sky can see something. Real sharp eye. But sometimes mandatva, dullness of vision. We all have gone through that, or most of us have gone through that. As you age, cataract, then vision is not sharp, fuzzy, dull. All this happens. And then, heavens forbid, andatva, blindness, that also happens. If we ask, to whom does all these three, andatva, mandatva, and patutva, either blindness or dullness of vision or real sharpness of vision, to whom does it happen? It is to the eye. But what do we say? I am blind. I'm dull. I'm sharp. The sharpness or the dullness of the instrument is superimposed on me. Therefore, the karanam has dharma. The instrument has all those qualities, but not the atma. So, andatva, mandatva, patutva, dharma, the characteristics, the conditions, properties, sharpness, etc. Chakshusha is for the eye. Saugunya, vaigunya, vashat. Because of healthy or sick condition of the eye. Can extend this to other jnanendriyas also. And karmendriyas, all sense organs and organs of action. Badirya mukatva, deafness and muteness. Deaf and mute, characteristic of speech and hearing, respectively. Thus, conditions of the eye relate to the instrument, jnanendriya, the organs of knowledge. Their speech belong to karmendriya. They are the properties of the upadis. Natu vetuhu atmanah. They don't belong to the atma, the subject. Vetuhu means sakshinah, the witnessing consciousness. Atma, the dull or sharp, doesn't belong to the atma. Atma is as ever. I am eternal, unaffected. I am the subject. The mind is an instrument, different from me. I am unaffected, not affected. So the conditions of the instrument does not affect me. So we have to very clearly separate ourselves from the upadis. They are all anatma. I am the atma. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.